We're going to explain how to check if an array is empty in Java. There are several ways to accomplish this, each with its own slight advantages. Checking the length property. The most straightforward method is to check the array's length property. Every array in Java has a length attribute that tells you how many elements it contains. If the length is 0, the array is empty. You can do this with a simple if statement. For example, if you have an array of integers called myArray, you would check if myArray.length is 0. If this condition is true, then myArray is empty. This is the most efficient and commonly used method. Using isEmpty method for collections. While arrays themselves don't have an isEmpty bands method, if you're working with java.util_arrays and its methods, you can convert your array into a list using arrays as list, and then use the isEmpty access method of the list interface. This approach is more readable but involves an extra step of conversion and might be slightly less efficient than directly checking the length. For instance, list integer mylist equals arrays as list, myArray, creates a list from myArray, and then mylist is empty will return true if the list, and thus the original array, is empty. Remember, modifications to the list don't affect the original array. 3. Iterative approach, generally less efficient. You could iterate through the array using a loop and check if you encounter any elements. If the loop completes without finding any elements, the array is empty. However, this is generally less efficient than directly checking the length, as it requires iterating through the entire array even if it's empty. This method is generally not recommended for simply checking emptiness. It's better suited for other tasks where you need to process array elements anyway. Handling null arrays. It's crucial to remember that an array variable can be null. Attempting to access the length property of a null array will result in a null pointer exception. Therefore, always check for null before checking the length. A good practice is to first check if myArray equals null, and handle the case where the array is null separately. You might return true if considering a null array as empty, or throw an exception or handle the situation as appropriate for your program. In summary, the most efficient and recommended way to check if an array is empty in Java is to check if myArray.length equals 0, after first confirming that myArray is not null. While other methods exist, they either introduce unnecessary overhead or are less readable. Always prioritize clarity and efficiency in your code. Remember to always handle the possibility of a null array to prevent runtime errors. The isEmpty analysis method is useful only if you're already using a list, or convert the array into one, which isn't always the most efficient approach for simply checking emptiness.